On this week's Lucas Oil on the Edge, beater cars and trucks leave the junkyard and line up for an epic race full of rolling jumps, elevation changes, and tight corners. The series that brings you outrageous motorsports has done it again with Beater Cross, and it's all next.
Got it tacked up, and if you get too close, you're getting cracked up. Stone cold when I roll, coming out of the hole. Get back, cause I'm out of control.
We've got a lot of great racing action coming your way. It's always fun to watch the creativity that you find inside of the Beater X series. Beater X presented by Lucas Oil Products here in Minnesota. Ken Stout and Brian Olson calling all the action for you, and David Hamilton is down there in the dirt. He's going to fill us in with more on what we're going to see here today. David?
If you've ever been to Minnesota in the wintertime, you know two things. It's cold and it snows a lot. Perfect conditions for snowmobile racing. But this time of year, it's actually pretty nice here. Today it's 91 degrees, and you certainly can't snowmobile race in that. So 3 years ago, the track owners here in Elk River decided to come up with their own kind of racing for this time of year. They call it Beater Cross, and it's pretty simple. Compact cars and small trucks racing on a dirt track setup similar to motocross.
Beater trucks and beater cars, that's right, that's what's happening here today. We'll start it off with the compact, and here's how it works out. We will have 2 4-lap heat races involving 6 cars. At the end of the day, you got to move on, and you got to be the top 4 to make your way to the final round. Compact cars heat race number 1, highlights coming at you. Dirks, Hensley, Laco, Idem, Plasted, and Ellington, your first 6 here in heat race number 1. The start, Ken, as you know, very important.
Highlights here of Heat 1 and that number 11 car. That is Rockstar Ellington. Does a great job as he gets up in there and tucks in, ends up in the second slot here going into turn number 2. Placed it right there behind him and then takes a look at that position for third. We'll cut from here and take you up to the white flag lap here in just a moment and show you how this one finishes up. But a lot of fun out here on this course for these guys, and it's a great, inexpensive way to get out here and do some short course off-road racing.
Yeah, entry-level racing at its best. You got Neons, Chevrolet Cavaliers that looks like a little Ford Tempo. And here is the final lap. White flag comes out.
That is Alec placed it, and you can see him pulling up and off of the course. Unfortunately, will not find the checkered flag here as we go on board with the rock star, Mark Ellington.
Ellington, who's one of the best in the business and been doing it for a little while. Oh, there's some crashing going on there toward the back for that second place spot.
Yeah, that was Kyle Laco who put a bumper on him right there.
Yeah, Rockstar will take this baby going away. Chevrolet Cavalier and a Rockstar.
So congratulations to Mark Ellington. Nice job. He'll carry some good momentum on into heat race number 2. Ellington, Idem, and Dirks finish out the top 3 there on the podium. All right, let's show you highlights from heat race number 2 as well.
We got 4 over here, and Mark is back in the groove again, as is Johnny Idem, Kyle Laco, and Mike Hensley, the 2 new arrivals in this particular heat. Now, I stated earlier that these things, at least some of them, want the one of Ellington look like a Cavalier. I'm pretty sure I'm accurate about that, but it's hard to tell because, Ken, these things are beat up.
Yeah, you can see the 0-1 there of John Idem. He did not want to give a little bit of racing room there to his colleague. Shoved him right up and over the jump, but without a doubt, Ellington has this field covered up.
Yeah, he's got the car to beat, no doubt about it, and I know that you said earlier they probably do have minimal changes inside of it, and I'm sure the rule book designates what you can and cannot do. And Alex Plasted actually does make his way on the track, so he'll roll right in there and be in 5th and qualify for the main event.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, the key there is, he'll secure himself in that main event. That's what he wanted to do, so Mark Ellington still out front here. No reason to push that one here in this heat race. And picks up win number 2 on the day.
Look like one of our jet boat drivers putting a hand up there.
Navigator. He's giving that pointer finger to the flagman. So nice job for Ellington. Back-to-back wins, Idem and Laco. They fill out the podium. When we come back, we'll line up the main event. Stay with us here at Lucas Oil on the Edge.
This Lucas Oil On the Edge telecast is brought to you by Lucas Oil Products, made in America, sold to the world. General Tire, anywhere is possible. ReadyLift.com. Don't just lift it, Ready Lift it.
All right, once again, we're back here at Elk River, Minnesota for the Beater X Series. Everybody having some fun out here this weekend, doing some racing, short course style.
We're going to go to the main event. We're going to be on board with two cars here, Mark Ellington and Mike Hensley in that 17 machine. And so far, it's all been Rockstar Ellington here in the first couple of heat races.
All right, Ellington, Idem, Hensley, and Dirks will all square off here. We'll see if anybody has saved anything for Ellington. Ellington on the inside, and it looks like the 0-1 of John Idem. A little bit of blue smoke coming out of it, but I'll tell you what, he's on the gas harder than we've seen all day.
And at the end of the day, you don't really know whether they're spinning the tires up there, whether they're down on steam. Obviously, we're running mainly all four-cylinder vehicles. That's a sideways four-cylinder in the 0-1. That is also a sideways one in the Cavalier, of course. But at the end of the day, Ellington's got something that the rest of the field does not have.
Well, Ellington's doing a good job of driving. Keep in mind, front-wheel drive vehicles here as well, so you don't really have to worry about spinning it out quite as much. You can drive it in really hard, as you saw right there, and then if it does start to over-rotate, the way you save a front-wheel drive car is to stand on the gas.
That's exactly right. And for the most part, when you look at these cars, they are strut-mounted machines. In other words, there are struts in the front, which include a shock and a coil spring. And the back is a trailing axle, primarily with a shock, but they may have to also have coil springs, but they're not going to be the way they are in the front. These cars are set up pretty good here, really, straight out from the factory.
Yeah, and they've set this track up pretty nicely. Unfortunately for Hensley, he's having some issues, but look at Ellington carrying some nice air, and I'll tell you, man, he backs it into the turns nicely. You can see he opens the entry of the turn up, kind of sets the car, and then picks up the throttle. And then, of course, the front-wheel drive cars also inherently have a push.
I got to tell you, I love the pipe sticking out the back of these cars.
Look at him just back that thing in there really nicely, man. Ellington doing a good job, but I'll tell you, he is not completely driven away from the field like he has in those two heat races.
Kind of like a sprint car, or a midget car, whatever the case might be, kind of using that packed up dirt a little bit in some of those corners, as we would call it, riding the edge, riding the rim, whatever you want to call it. And, well, we got one dead in the water here, so we'll have a caution flag temporarily. I believe it's simply an area caution flag, Ken.
Yeah, local caution there for Hensley, as looks like he got the best out of that one, and Ellington hoping he can make it to the end there with a high-tech car. Rockstar Ellington, and man, really backs it in nicely there, but I'll tell you, man, that 0-1 of John Idem is right there on the back bumper. He better not make a mistake.
Idem must have made a tune-up on that thing between those heats, because he was nowhere close earlier, and I'm not so sure that Ellington is holding off any. I don't think he is. He looks like he's running pretty strong like he did in the heats, but the bright red machine is giving him a race, making a race out of it.
Yeah, absolutely, and again, past that local caution area, and Ellington now putting a little bit of gap on him now.
They may be telling him in the radio because of them loud pipes. I don't know, man. The red machines are coming up. I wish I could tell you, but it really looks like it's an original Ford, either a Festiva or an Escort. I can't tell for sure because it's so beat up. But in any case, four-cylinder machines, front-wheel drive, final lap. That's a white flag, and Rockstar may end up going 3 for 3 here today.
Yeah, I think the good news about the 0-1 cars, it's a little shorter wheelbase, so probably gets through that turn just a little bit better and keeps him hanging around, but I don't know that he has the horsepower Ellington has.
Now, when Ellington gets out there in the open like he did
and you
just
can see Ellington actually hammered the emergency brake.
Yeah,
so he's setting that car up with that emergency brake.
I was going to mention that earlier, and I thought, now I'm not. There he goes again. He's putting the number 1 out there. I'm going to be a number 1 again. I'm going to go 3 for 3, and I'm going to sweep this event. Mark Ellington, the rock star.
Your General Tire Beater X Compact winner, Mark Ellington. Congratulations to him. Let's go down and talk to him.
As Mark Rockstar Ellington climbs out of his vehicle here, the winner tonight in Beater Cross Compact Car 1. Mark, you got to be excited with the victory.
Oh yeah, that's 2 heats, first place, and the feature first place. First time that's ever happened.
So what was your key to victory tonight?
Oh well, just driving the track like I normally do. I hold it almost to the floor. I don't hit the brakes. I hit the e-brake once in a while. Steer, that's about it.
We're not finished yet. The Beater X trucks are coming up next. Stay with us. And the fans are having a great time here at Elk River, Minnesota for the Beater X Series. Let's get it down to David Hamilton with more on the trucks.
Here at Elk River in the truck category, they race 4- and 6-cylinder vehicles. All are rear-wheel drive. Now, you can't have a 4-wheel drive vehicle. You just have to disconnect the front drive axle. And as you can see, they also allow Jeeps and vans to race in this category. Let's get them started.
All right, the drivers here in these trucks are going to have to be a little more careful as that center of gravity is going to be a good bit higher, so it won't be too hard to invert one of these things as we take a look at our lineup here in heat race number 1.
Latham and Lagerman are your top two. Now, they have had the choice of starting positions. Now, as you can see here, it's pickup trucks and SUVs. There's a Blazer. There is a Dodge. There's a Ford pickup truck. And right off the bat, you're going to have to watch it because these guys here are known to be touching and swapping paint a little bit more often.
Well, I got to tell you, if somebody just slammed the door on me, it would not allow me to get inside at turn number 1 to stay on the racing track. There would be a bumper coming in turn number 2. There is no doubt about it. And problems there for the 01 right off the bat.
Yeah,
man,
Lewell.
he really struggled almost like he didn't know where to go for a moment. Tim Lewell.
Yeah, he did. And here comes that blue machine, the Blazer, trying to get a little bit back at him there from that start. And there's some trading of the paint.
And I'll tell you, man, he pitches him right down there against the tire as well. And now that one I could definitely see, but again, if I was in the 01, I'd have fed him something right there in that left rear quarter. And he might not have been going as straight at the exit of one.
Kurt Burley is actually running away from him now in that little S-Series Blazer. 2-door machine, and that baby just literally looks like it came off the street. Looks like he knocked the windows out of the thing, threw some letters on the sides of the doors, and headed out here to Minnesota.
Yeah, some good air over that jump, and here comes the Jeep now. I'll tell you, that Jeep's got some horsepower. He's just overdriving it just a little bit. A little over-rotation in the back, and that'll cost him a spot.
And there is a change for third as the 33X machine now will take that third spot away. That's Ryan Lagerman.
Good battle right here for the lead for sure here in heat race number 1, and wide exit's going to open up the door. Good battle.
This is a good race, man. Last lap. I bet you there'll be some paint trading going on there.
There you go. Hell, lost a bumper, I think so. Yeah,
you
these
gotta
guys,
love
and I'll
it.
tell you, man, you can tell these things are actually a little more difficult to drive than what the cars were because of all that suspension.
Yeah, and Lewell is great on the straightaways, but he struggles in the corners a bit. And it's kind of surprising, really, to me, that Bowerly's machine is so much better. But as you mentioned earlier, the shorter wheelbase cars, cornering-wise, do have an advantage.
Yeah, I think the 01 of Tim Lewell has the good combination there. If he just checks up a little bit going into the turns and keeps it under control. But Kurt Bowerly's going to take the win here in heat race number 1. Should be a great main event between those two, along with some others. All right, when we come back, it'll be heat race number 2 for the Beater X trucks. Stay with us.
We love to hear from our fans. Go to www.facebook.com and become a fan of Lucas Oil on the Edge. Join our OTE private group or like our page. Then post your comments about this Lucas Oil on the Edge episode.
The entire staff stayed here at the Holiday Inn Wildwoods Water Park at Elk River, and everybody had a great time in between all the racing action, except for Brian Olson. He wouldn't get in.
I got on that slide one time, Mary, and then I started taking the coins off the bottom of the deal, and they threw me out.
That was your paycheck.
I
Sorry,
know it.
pal. All right, here we go. Heat race number 2 for the Beater X trucks, and 6 of them deep.
Wow. This is going to get good.
Oh, yeah, that's how you make your way into turn number 1.
This is going to get good. This is all primarily pickup trucks here, except for one SUV toward the back. On board with Andrew Carlson here. And I tell you what, these, you talk about the ones that are high side a little bit, or the taller or the higher center of gravity machines. As you look at the ones at the back, again, there's one, I call it an SUV.
Oh, and not good right there. Got a little sideways off of that jump, and unfortunately, Ryan Murphy takes his lumps there.
Throws his hand in the air. He wants to get a replay. The hood actually came up on that, what appears to be at least, a Kia SUV. The hood came up. I think he kind of merged to the right a touch, and boom, suddenly Saldana and that 7 had nowhere to go and gave him a peck in the door, and that's all it took.
Yeah, he did a nice pirouette over the nose and stuck the landing. All right, current leader still out front, and, yep, trying to get that thing fired one more time.
Once that baby goes upside down and some of those fluids will fill the cylinders, generally it takes a little bit long. You got to fire it back up again.
And the fans love that
they
stuff,
love
man.
it. Yes, sir. That's what I said. That's great.
All right, lap 3 of 4 here in heat race number 2.
You can't beat the green headlights, though, can you? I mean, really.
It's great markings. I'll tell you, all your fans can pick out who you are and where you're at. He's being tracked down by the 151 of Andrew Carlson. Carlson taking the inside.
There's a good race here for first and second for sure. Third and fourth playing their own games back there.
I think we're going to have a good main event as well. Carlson really bringing the heat now.
They might be matching height the bumpers here in a minute. Final lap.
Last lap.
Change.
Yeah, Carlson takes over the lead, and these guys are racing pretty clean, unlike heat race number 1 where they were beating the dog at each other.
Oh, Carlson is just running away. And Carlson from basically, I'm not going to say nowhere, but he was earlier in the third and fourth spot, has come on around. If nothing goes wrong, he will be the man to take the checkered flag.
I'll tell you what I liked about Carlson right there. When you watch him go through that left-hander, he got completely out of the throttle, left some weight up on the nose, and rotated that truck. He didn't overdrive the turn, and it worked out great. He picks up the win in heat race number 2, followed by Tom Rambo and Jeff Cotto.
Well, Ryan, we just saw what happened out there to you, but why don't you tell us why it happened?
Basically forgot to latch the hood, couldn't see where I was going, and I don't even know, to be honest.
How about you? You nervous? You anxious? What's going through your head right now?
I'm still a little shooken up from it. I mean, that was an intense ride.
You gonna remember to latch the hood this time?
Yep. Yeah, that'll get latched.
The main event for the Beater X Trucks is coming up, and you don't want to miss it.
This Lucas Oil On the Edge telecast is brought to you by Lucas Oil Products, made in America, sold to the world. General Tire, anywhere is possible. ReadyLift.com. Don't just lift it, ready lift it.
All right, the main event is just around the corner here at Elk River, Minnesota. Let's get it down to David.
As pro wrestler Ric Flair so eloquently said, to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And in Beater Cross Truck, well, Andrew Carlson's the man. He's the champion from last year, and so far this year he's leading the points. Andrew, what's your key to success here in Beater Cross?
You know, it's so important to keep the truck running and complete the race all the way and just be smooth. And today was the first time I ever had a flat out here, and like that's huge. Like you can't win if your truck's broken. So, kind of saving the machine and just putting in fast laps.
All right, we'll line them up here for this main event. This should be pretty exciting, to say the least. 7 of them will start this, and 1 of them will start in the back row. Calvin Saldana, of course, no relation to the Brownsburg Bullet of Joey Saldana.
This is going to be good, I'm telling you. It's going to be good.
There you go. Plow your way into the inside of turn number 1, and you turn the winner of second place finisher of heat race number 2 sideways.
Oh, boy. It looks like they put a little more water on the track for this one too, kid.
And that's exactly what they do. The first couple of laps here, I mean, it'll be a handful for these guys to try and keep them straight.
Not only do they do that, it, believe it or not, makes for good traction after a couple laps, but they do it to make it a far more interesting event. And but after you get it around a couple times, it'll pack in and actually make for a faster racing surface. There's the 318, the winner of one of the heat races, and he is way, way, way back in the pack and almost collected a course worker.
Well, you know what? I mean, he played pretty dirty in heat race number 1. He was putting bumpers on people, driving in really hard, and it looked like he tried to use that same tactic here, and it didn't work out so well for him.
Kurt Burley, who was in the hunt against Tim Lewell right here, and this maybe looks like Lewell has gotten his control problems, if you will, because this thing was so sporadic in the corners in the heat race. I mean, he is running from the rest of this group right here.
Yeah, and I said that early on. I thought he had a great combination. Oh, and it looks like Rambo has right front flat, a right front flat or something. The suspension has give way. Either way, the right front of that one has nosed down significantly. But, yeah, you're exactly right. That 01 of Tim Llewell has a great combination. He's settled down a little bit and now is way out front.
Yeah, Oh Green Eyes is history right there. Tom Rambo has got a busted right front tire, I should say blown right front tire, possible suspension damage, but he is going nowhere.
Yeah, and I wonder if anybody has anything for this Jeep because Tim is checked out right now. I really thought this main event would be a good battle all the way to the end, but boy, Tim just had all the breaks go his way.
You know, I got to say, man, that Tim Llewell, this looks like a whole different rig than it was in the heat race, Ken, as you well know, because this thing was doing a lot of spinning before he was taking the turns a little bit higher, using the cushion a little bit. But right now he's running right in the middle of the track. I think he already knows by looking that he's not got a lot of competition nearby. But this, to me, looks like a totally different package than was in the heat race when he got second.
I honestly think it's all driver. I think he had a chance to go back, probably talk to his crew members who were watching him, and they said, man, if you just settle down a little bit, you've got the truck to beat. And he has really calmed down. He's driving a lot smoother. It makes the truck look completely different, and he's doing an awesome job.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you on that because at the end of the day, there, other than maybe some shock settings here or there, as the white flag comes out 1 lap to go, it comes down to just some settings here and there, maybe some tire pressure.
And there was a perfect example. He overdrove the entry of that turn.
Yep.
He had a lot of input in the steering wheel, so it started to push. Then it did catch, and it slung the back end around. It's called a snap oversteer, and it cost him some time. If he had somebody right behind him, he could have lost the position there. But fortunately, he's got plenty of playing room.
Ooh, it looked like that baby was trying to smoke a little bit off the bottom, but apparently not, because he is getting ready to cross here momentarily. That start-finish line, receive the checkered flag, and take home the win, the 0-1 of Tim Llewell.
Excellent job. So, Tim Llewell, your Beater X winner from General Tire. Let's go down and talk to him.
Tim Llewell, our winner here in Beater Cross Trucks. Tim, that wasn't even much of a race. You were like half a lap ahead of the competition. How'd you do that?
Yeah, you know what? I've got a little bit of experience on some dirt stuff, and I was just putting her to her, going with the coals. Had a nice clean line. I wasn't going to give it up. What a race. It was awesome.
Everybody had a lot of fun up here watching some off-road racing, both compact and truck style. Hope you enjoyed it as well. For David Hamilton and Brian Olson, I'm Ken Stout. Remember, you're not living unless you're on the edge.